It's Monday. It's morning.
And it's macabre.
What if I talked like that for the entirety of the episode and then the remainder of my life?
That would be amazing.
Wouldn't
I
that
would
be
tell your
great?
kids, you wouldn't believe how he fucking talked before this.
You will not believe when you see the wedding footage.
You kids don't know.
Be like,
You know
listen,
you're
kids.
dead like I know you're dead.
Your dad saw the Batman 2021 and, or is that 2022? When did that movie come out?
What would you do if when your kids were like teenagers, I just was like, I've seen your dad do some of the most heinous shit and then never explain further.
I feel like that's what most dad's friends do anyway.
Kind of,
I
yeah.
feel like it's always like for example,
this guy.
I realized just now when you said that I have my own like Theo Von-esque like weirdo person that I interacted with story from my childhood.
Hell yeah.
Which
brother.
was my dad would have this guy come over once in a while whose name was Sherwin. And
it's already funny, dude.
It gets better. Sherwin was like a minor league baseball player. And for some reason he interacted with my father. Sherwin was like their neighbor when they lived in like an apartment before I was born or something like that.
And he was just a fucking rip dingers.
Yeah, he would just he was an amateur baseball player and a friendly neighbor who would just rip dingers, and
mashed taters.
he would every time he'd swing by, he'd bring this like
Good
cherry.
joke.
No, I wish he'd bring like a cherry soda that I've never had since, and I don't. It might have. I don't know what it was.
Oh man,
but
I want to know what kind of. I love them. Weird soda flavors.
We were taught to call it Sherwin Pop, so we would be drinking Sherwin Pop from this strange neighbor.
What was his full name?
His name was Sherwin. I don't know his last name.
Sherwin,
no last name, but he had Sherwin Pop, and that's like drinking Sherwin Pop from my strange neighbor. I forget how this.
Did you feel like did it give you strength?
It honestly might have been my downfall. Like I might have been like a PhD, like I could have cured some kind of disease or something. But then like Sherwin Pop got introduced, and my system was like, "We're gonna knock him down a few pegs. We're gonna."
You changed forever, dude. You were gonna be 5'7".
Yeah, it's like, what if it's just like a green vial of fluid that like in every
it's a color like a glow.
Exactly. And it starts to like rattle when I get near it. Yeah. So we're all on the same page. That's what I used to drink, and now I am taller than 5'7".
Your dad's Major League Baseball buddy.
Yeah, from amateur baseball, Sherwin.
That's sick. I'm gonna tell you.
I forget how we.
Baseball player
right.
too.
I forgot how we got there, but yes, because
I could just lie to your kids and say I'm a minor league baseball player.
Yeah, I would have
probably did to you.
I also knew a minor league soccer player. I knew a lot of minor league athletes for some reason growing
up.
Your
dad 100% sold steroids. There's no fucking doubt in my mind.
Yeah, Bearings, wink, wink, and it's just vials upon vials of human growth hormone.
Anabolic Sherwin Pop.
Oh, those were the days, man.
That's
back
incredible.
When men were men and boys could drink Sherwin Pop. But yeah, so
beautiful.
Feel free to tell my daughter that my voice was different.
Is that where this started?
Well, yeah.
I don't care about that anymore. I have so much cooler stuff to tell her now.
Yeah. Speaking of my daughter, she's 3, and we're thinking about taking her to the movies for the first time.
Ooh.
And we're trying to figure out the best way to do that / what movie to see.
I wonder how amazing kids even see the movies nowadays. Like, they see so many screens. I wonder if she's going to get there and be like, this isn't even that cool.
Yeah, they're probably like,
I can't even hold this.
Flip it around, make it vertical. TikTok.
Yeah, I don't know. Do kids' movies even come out in theaters anymore?
Well, so we were just perusing. Literally 15 minutes ago, we were perusing like the movies that are in theaters near us right now. And
The Boogeyman.
So we were like, we could take her that fucking. No, but we were like The Little Mermaid, maybe. But then we watched the trailer, and it's like we were like, this would scare her. Like boat lights on fire,
Ursula,
and like people
get
and like Ursula's like this horrifying tentacle creature, and like
Well, hey, she's got to learn someday. I was watching The Nightmare Before Christmas at her age.
Scone's like, I didn't have a tongue a long time ago.
I am so desensitized to spooky things. In fact, I'm drawn to them.
So I think the conclusion we came to was the Super Mario Brothers movie, because that's animated
Jack Black.
and fun. And we showed her the trailer and we were like, Hazel, this is a movie, like, and she was like, what is that? Like pointing at Bowser, and my wife was like, oh, that's Bowser, and she's like, and I was like, it's like a big turtle, and she goes,
he's
no,
the King
Daddy,
Koopa.
that's a Bowser. And I was like, all right, you're not wrong.
Dad, are you deaf or are you dumb?
How much Sherwin pop have you taken today? And I was like, you keep that between us.
Me, you, and Sherwin.
Me, you, and Sherwin. What if it was Sherwin Williams? And I just knew.
You were just drinking paint?
Yeah, I know. That makes a lot more sense as to why I'm not the doctor. Just like, it was cherry flavored, just red paint. That makes a lot more sense. Oh, man. I made this guy up entirely in my head because I'm just like downing a Sherwin Williams paint can.
It's like Charlie from It's Always Sunny, just like hallucinating in your basement.
Yeah, I'm like, you're an amateur baseball player. Like, my imagination wouldn't even allow him to be in Major League. You're never getting the call, kid.
Yeah, you had good realistic imagination.
Oh, man, oh, man, oh, man. To be young again.
To be young again.
Scones, we got like 2 minutes. You got anything fun to fit into these like 2 minutes?
No.
Hell yeah.
Nothing's happened in my life.
You drink any paint?
Not enough. I'm thinking about it now. Try like the watermelon flavored.
Mm-hmm. Yum, yum, yum.
Yummer.
What are we chit-chatting about this
Oh
week,
my
Scones?
gosh, dude. Something sick. We got a listener suggestion, Patreon member. Listener suggestion at Ryan Benson, who sent us this little ditty. At Ryan Benson, author on Instagram. He told me to check out the unsuccessful World War II plot to fight the Japanese using radioactive foxes.
I love this. This is
we haven't talked about this yet, right?
No.
Yeah, excellent.
I think I probably skimmed an article when he sent this over, but I don't think we have discussed this in deets, as the kids say.
What the kids say?
I don't think we've gone through our Radioactive Foxes season yet,
dude.
As the kids say.
Tis. Band.
Okay, band.
Crack that whip
and slap a and just play the fucking song.
All right, so we got an article here.
Yeah.
From the Smithsonian Magazine.
Ooh, somebody's subscribing.
By John Lyle. Thanks, John Lyle.
Hey, John Lyle, what's in your pockets?
So yeah, an outlandish idea codenamed Operation Fantasia aimed to demoralize the Axis powers by mimicking legendary spirits.
Dude, this is what I love about... Okay, war is bad, but wartime strategy thinking gets so wacky, it's amazing.
It's how we got the microwave.
Yeah, baby. You wouldn't be able to toast up your old cigarettes and make them good again.
So think about that next time you're toasting that bone, baby.
Next time you throw a cig in there for a quick 30 seconds. Think of that.
In the wake of the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor, Wild Bill Donovan, the leader of the Office of Strategic Services, America's wartime intelligence agency.
Should that be the guy's name who leads our intelligence?
Wild Bill? Yeah, you want to... It's like with banks. You want it to be a wild, unpredictable, unstable person.
You want the descriptor you want for your head of strategy is wild.
Yep.
Love it.
It's more of like it's more of like the CIA back in the day, the OSS.
True.
He told his scientists to find a way to outfox his Axis enemies. In response, the scientists produced a number of dirty tricks, including explosive pancake mix, incendiary bombs strapped to live bats.
Dude, this is the job I want. Like, you just gonna make up silly...
strap them to shit.
Yeah, right? Okay, it's a pogo stick, but when you land... It's just like, it's so easy.
Truth drugs for eliciting information from prisoners of war in a foul-smelling spray that mimicked the repulsive odor of fecal matter. So they made poop spray, like a joke shop poop spray.
This is great.
Just wartime stink bombs.
Stink bomb.
In other words, desperate times called for desperate measures. Among these outlandish strategies, Operation Fantasia was the most desperate and peculiar of them all. Operation Fantasia was the brainchild of OSS psychological warfare strategist Ed Salinger, an eccentric businessman who had run an import-export business in Tokyo before the war. So, very good with psychological warfare.
Very cool, very cool.
Salinger's business dealings had given him a cursory introduction to Japanese culture. He learned the language, collected the art, and studied the superstitions, which is why the OSS had hired him. Operation Fantasia, he pitched the organization in 1943, would destroy Japanese morale by exposing soldiers and civilians to a Shinto portent of doom, kitsune, fox-shaped spirits with magical abilities.
Okay.
Poggers. The foundation for the proposal, Salinger wrote in a memo outlining his idea, rests upon the fact that the modern Japanese is subject to superstitions, beliefs in in evil spirits, and unnatural manifestations which can be provoked and stimulated. So it seems like a big hope. They're
really, I feel, betting a lot on the fact that these Japanese are going, like
they're going to be like, that's a radioactive
super
fox.
Superstitious. Yeah, that seems a bit of a stretch.
To be fair, I would never expect that.
That's true.
If someone sent to America a bunch of radioactive guys that looked like Jesus, I'd be like, I would never suspect that.
They're so in shape. What the fuck?
Just absolutely shredded up there on the cross, brother. Vince Houghton, the historian and curator of the International Spy Museum, writes in his book, Nuking the Moon, that Operation Fantasia demonstrates the breadth of the racism, ethnocentrism, and general disregard for Japanese culture held by many, if not most, of top military intelligence and political leaders.
Okay. Very good.
Being relatively unacquainted with East Asian religions, the OSS ascribed to a level of gullibility to the Japanese that it never did with European foes. So yeah, they weren't sending Krampuses to the Germans
and sick.
Austrians.
That'd be pretty fucking poggers.
It would be, especially if they were radioactive.
Yes. Indubitably.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
The OSS is...
Sorry.
I wasn't even reading the right line. It doesn't matter.
That's fine. I knew it.
We're all here. In reality, the Japanese culture of yokai, the realm of animals that explains the paranormal, resembles the folklore of any other culture. As scholar Michael Dillon Foster writes, thinking about the genesis of yokai, then, it is really a philosophical problem. It helps us explore how human beings struggle to grasp, interpret, and control the world around them.
Okay.
What do you think the equivalent for a modern American is if they had to send something radioactive that you think enough people would believe it
is
was
this
some
in
kind
Japan
of
or for America?
No, for America. I'm not asking.
Oh. Okay, I was gonna be like, I've got these foxes. Probably in America today,
like a Bigfoot.
Who maybe like a Bigfoot or a chupacabra.
Okay,
I mean, it would have to be some kind of cryptid type, right? Like
Appalachia style.
Or honestly, you could probably use Christianity. and be like, oh, it's the Virgin Mary in a soup can, but it's radioactive.
Radioactive soup can virgin? Mary?
Radioactive soup can virgin. Dude, RSCV, baby. Who wants a t-shirt of the radioactive soup can virgin?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's write it down, baby. We need to make this.
All the powers of a virgin and a soup can.
Unstoppable force meets a movable object.
I just picture it's Wet Hot American Summer. It's just the can talking. Like,
if you haven't seen Wet Hot American Summer, go watch the movie. You're missing out.
Please do.
If you
There's
like this
no
show,
reason not to.
Just hear us.
If you like anyone involved with modern like
alternative
comedy like on television or movies, they're
just
all
watch
in
it. It was like what's his face's first movie, Bradley Cooper.
Yeah, and it was fantastic.
Yeah.
When it came to the question of how to create fake kitsune, the OSS dreamed up a gaggle of ideas. First, OSS personnel fashioned fox-shaped balloons to fly over Japanese villages and scare the citizens below.
Okay.
Can you imagine an entire
That's
town of people
insane.
just cowering in fear at some fox balloons?
Giant fox balloon. Nobody would think,
They're not
that's
even,
just a fox
they don't
balloon.
even say it's giant. It's just fox-shaped. Just normal balloon size.
This is a crazy thought process.
They also asked Whistle Company. Oh, sorry. They also asked a Whistle Company. It's not like a sick part of the army.
Whistle
called
Company.
Whistle Company.
Yeah.
They also asked a whistle company to create an instrument that simulated fox sounds.
What the fuck? Imagine being that whistle company being like, Uncle Sam needs us, boy.
We're putting an end to this.
We're gonna take down Hitler.
I want to make an Oppenheimer-style movie, but it's all these.
It's the whistle company that gets the fucking notice for
but
fox noises.
Shot like a Christopher Nolan dead ass, like as serious as like a car wreck type fucking movie.
That'd be amazing.
In a memo to the OSS planning staff, Salinger said, "These whistles can be used in combat, and a sufficient number of them should create an eerie kind of sound that calculated
really
to
spooky.
meet the Japanese superstition."
This is
so
fucking
stupid.
stupidest shit I've ever heard. This is not a good idea.
In addition to the balloons and whistles, the OSS hired another company to create artificial fox odors. I can't believe we were the first ones to get to nuclear bombs. This shows why Operation Paperclip had to happen.
I was gonna say this is definitely like some guy in the government's like nephew who's like, I want to help, and they're like, this is the closest you can get to giving your cousin the unplugged N64 controller and being like, yeah, you're helping. Oh man!
In addition to the balloons and whistles, the OSS hired another company to create artificial fox odors. Salinger thought that the Japanese citizens
so focused on like the ambiance, just like it. Put more money into the actual physical thing, I think.
Like, what does a fox even smell like?
Right?
How would I recognize that?
What does the fox smell like? That is the question.
Salinger thought that the Japanese citizens would somehow recognize his scent, just as he thought that they would recognize a rare fox sound and cower in fear.
This is so stupid.
But despite Salinger's best efforts, the balloons, whistles, and odors were abandoned as impractical before being deployed. Instead, the OSS reverted to Salinger's original plan. Catch live foxes in China and Australia, spray paint them with glowing paint, and release them through the Japanese villages.
That's a way better idea.
It is.
But, like, oh man, how much money was spent on fucking manufacturing fake spirit fox odor?
Yeah, like all this shit was literally like created and tested.
For this.
Yes.
Our grandparents paid taxpayer money for this to happen.
Yep. This scheme presented a number of logistical hurdles. First, what kind of paint should be used? The United States
Sherwin-Williams, baby.
The United States Radium Corporation provided an answer in the form of its glow-in-the-dark paint, which contained radium. So
Okay,
back
so
in the
they
day,
were
glow-in-the-dark
radioactive.
paint was just actually radioactive.
Just actually just plutonium. Just like sticks of radioactive material.
essentially.
Just
Did
like
you
what
ever
Homer
have?
Simpson has in his tongs.
Did you have a glow-in-the-dark basketball growing up?
If not basketball, definitely like football or other. Definitely
Yeah.
one of those like little toys. Yeah.
I feel like the glow-in-the-dark basketball was super popular for our age. Like a
Yeah.
lot of people I knew had it.
Definitely.
So sick.
So when are we starting the league? Let's get it going.
How much radium did I come in contact with?
Just enough.
Can you imagine
ask me.
the dark basketball league? Like it's
That'd be
just at
sick.
night, no lights, and
People
everyone has glow
would
in
be
the dark.
running into each other left and right.
No. Glow in the dark jerseys, glow in the dark
Oh,
hoops.
okay. That would
It's
be
essentially
fun as
just
fuck.
like a neon basketball game.
Yeah, it's cosmic basketball.
Yeah, exactly.
That'd be awesome. And you just have like a fucking DJ. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Wait,
Kids
this
have
is a
their
great
birthday
idea.
parties there all the time.
This is actually, we need to build a building. This is not the worst idea we've ever
we
had.
could put this next to like Ty Law's trampoline park on Route 1.
Yeah. Go to Route 1, guys. Once we come up with a name for it, we'll be, call it like, I don't know how you combine.
Cosmic and basketball. I mean, Space Jam's there, but we'd probably
Oh,
get sued.
fuck. I'm so dumb. Space Jam has to be it, right? Like,
Yeah, but you'd have to do like two.
you'd have to do like
A's
Jam
or
Space
like
and then like give it a wink.
Space Jams like Z.
Yeah, the Z. Yeah.
Michael Jordan would come for your ass so fast to sue you.
God, I wish that were me.
The health risks associated with the paint weren't unknown. As early as 1917, women detailing watch dials with the luminous paint suffered from anemia, bone fractures, and necrosis of the jaw. Oh no,
Poggers?
dude!
That's
This was
pretty gnarly.
A result of them using their pursed lips to shape the contaminated brush tips into a fine point.
Damn.
Well, if you're putting paint in your mouth, like stop.
Why are you putting paint in your mouth?
Stop putting paint in your mouth. Use a cup
Hey,
of water like
stop putting paint in your mouth.
everyone else in society.
Yeah, fair point.
Despite that danger, the OSS continued with Operation Fantasia. The next roadblock, getting radioactive paint to adhere to animal fur. To test whether it would, the OSS turned to Harry Nymphaeus, a veterinarian at Central Park Zoo.
That's the guy's name?
Harry Nymphaeus.
That is literally a Harry Potter character.
Yeah, essentially.
What the fuck?
In his tenure at the zoo, Nymphaeus had dealt with issues as varied as a paralyzed elephant and a canary with a broken leg, but never anything like this.
I was gonna say, those don't sound that crazy.
Yeah, the broken leg on a canary, like
Yeah, that's like birds have like the twinkiest little legs I've ever seen. What do you
break
mean?
their shit all the time.
Yeah, they probably like land bad and just like, well, I guess I'm just like wheelchair bound for the rest of my bird life.
Speaking of wheelchairs, the paralyzed elephant, you'd need some big fucking wheels.
Ooh, that'd be sick though. You get like two fucking chrome 24-inch wheels.
Yeah,
spinning.
essentially put them on like a tractor.
Yeah, Exhibit rolls up. He's like, yo, I got this.
That'd be sick.
That'd be sick. Pimp my elephant, dude. Sheesh.
But then he decorates it all with like ivory and then gets
Dude,
canceled.
we put a TV in his foot. He's like, fuck, it hurts. Hell yeah.
He recruited the help of a raccoon who was more than willing to have his fur painted in exchange for his daily allotment of food. I like they say that like the raccoon like can consent to this.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Sure,
Yeah, it
I'll
was
put the
Brandon.
radioactive
He was
stuff
a
on
cool
me.
dude.
The raccoon was kept under lock and key and hidden from public view. After several days of ordinary raccoon shenanigans, the paint stayed on. To find out whether the faux supernatural foxes would actually frighten the Japanese, the OSS decided to release 30 glowing foxes in Washington, D.C.'s Rock Creek Park to gauge the reaction of locals.
What the fuck is happening? This is absurd.
Well, yeah, but now you realize how kind of not that insane some UFO theories are.
That's true.
If the American government's willing to just let loose radioactive foxes and
Dude, we could do an entire podcast probably
the
on
poorest
just, like,
neighborhood
silly,
in DC. What?
Silly, like, we could do a whole podcast on just silly wartime
Silly
ideas.
Billy, yeah, American
The Silly Billy
government
War Hour?
goofy plans.
Yeah.
If the foxes spooked Americans, the logic went, certainly they would scare the Japanese even more. On a summer night in 1945, OSS personnel release the foxes in the park, and the creatures scamper along trails with promising results. The sight of the ghostly apparitions at first confused and then terrified passerbys on their evening stroll. One citizen was so concerned that he notified the National Park Police, which reported on the incident. Horrified citizens, shocked by the sudden sight of leaping ghost-like animals, fled from the dark recesses of the park with screaming Jeemies. Which I don't know what screaming Jeemies means, but if that's racist, I'm sorry.
I think we're good.
But then another...
that's just the government version of it's just a prank, bro.
It's just a test, bro.
Dude, we're just
it's joshing. For the war effort.
Yeah, it's for the war. It's for the war. It's for the war. Don't punch.
But then another barrage of procedural questions surfaced. How would the foxes get to the Japanese islands? The OSS had initially planned to drop them in the ocean and let them swim ashore, but it wasn't clear whether they would survive such an excursion. Could foxes swim long distances? Nubius gave his word that they could, but Salinger's team devised another experiment to test his hunch.
Threw him in the fucking ocean. Like, what is the experiment?
Under the cloak of an early morning fog, OSS personnel packed a group of captured foxes onto a boat destined for the middle of the Chesapeake Bay. The foxes paced inside their small cages, and when the engine cut off, they became frantic. One by one, the personnel threw them overboard in the cold, brackish seawater to sink or swim. The foxes swam and survived, to the delight of the OSS team. The dry or wet run for the Japanese invasion had been a success.
This is absurd.
But by the time the foxes reached the shore, most of the paint had washed off. And within minutes of stepping onto the beach, the animals licked off the rest of the remaining paint. The aquatic foxes concept...
This cannot be legitimate fucking wartime, like... Oh my god.
This is real, brother. They thought this was going to be macabre.
They're like, yo... Nobody was like, hey... What about the whole, like, paint washing off thing? That's crazy. This is so stupid.
So, if Operation Fantasia was to go forward, the foxes would have to be dropped on shore. But the greatest challenge, Ed Salinger predicted, would come after the foxes were already in place. To his knowledge, nobody had ever trained foxes. What would keep them in the vicinity of people and stop them from running off in the wrong direction if they encountered a barrage of gunfire?
What the fuck?
Salinger's solution was simple: strength in numbers. If enough foxes are released, some will get through. And on the off chance the foxes failed, he suggested painted readily available...
It's the D-Day of ghost foxes? They're just like, yeah, they got the machine guns in the positions, but we just got to get some of them through.
Hundreds of planes in the sky, just dropping foxes.
Yeah, a bunch of foxes pulling up on U-boats, like... What the fuck?
And on the off chance that the foxes failed, he suggested painting readily available minks, muskrats, raccoons, and coyotes in their stead.
Jesus Christ.
Salinger's off-the-wall idea got even stranger. In one newly discovered OSS memo found at the Army Heritage and Education Center in Pennsylvania, he wrote that he had learned of a peculiar, potent manifestation of the fox legend. A version of the superstition that supposedly terrified the Japanese even more, that appears in the form of a fox bearing death's head on its crown. His plan to capitalize on this information bears repeating in his own words. We have made a stuffed fox with a human skull affixed to its head, equipped with a simple mechanical device for raising and lowering the jaw so as to simulate the opening and closing of the mouth of the skull.
So they made a puppet.
Yes. They made the scariest Muppet ever. This stuffed figure will be painted to give the same luminous effect as the case of the live foxes. Salinger suggested draping the taxidermied fox body in a black cloth painted with glowing bones and lifting this human fox hybrid into the air with balloons or a kite as if it were levitating to have an even greater demoralizing effect on the Japanese.
What the fuck?
From the ground, the Japanese would look up and see a floating, glowing fox body, covered in glowing bones, with a human skull sitting atop its head, whose jaw opened and closed as if it were talking.
There's no way this thing would look good.
It's a Scooby-Doo villain.
It literally, it's like, this is so bad.
It's absolutely incredible.
Did they ever make it to Japan?
But just in case none of his previous plans worked, Salinger included an addendum to the memo titled Fox-Possessed Human Beings. In this scheme, Japanese citizens sympathetic to the Allied cause would simulate persons possessed of the Fox spirit who utter strange chants emanating from the Fox spirit. Essentially, they would run around in a semi-deranged state yelling about foxes. Salinger, dude, this guy's obsessed with foxes.
Yeah, I was going to say,
this the original furry. Salinger caused the OSS planning staff that a creation of a fox-possessed human army was the planning stages only. There are many difficulties that would have to be overcome before the plan could be put into operation. It never was.
Ah, boo.
None of the aforementioned harebrained schemes ever went beyond the planning and experimental stages. That's a
bunch of foxes got dumped into the ocean for no reason. This is bullshit.
Pretty much. And then licked up a bunch of radioactive paint. They definitely did not live very long.
Damn.
As early as September 24th, 1943, Stanley Lovell, the head of the OSS Research and Development Branch responsible for overseeing Fantasia, recommended in a meeting that they abandon the operation. He couldn't understand why nobody else questioned its logic, feasibility, or rationality. He told his colleagues, "I trust that this will serve as a critique to us in the field of pure reason." Lovell had established his reputation as the OSS by pursuing eccentric ideas himself, such as trying to make Adolf Hitler's mustache fall off by slipping female sex hormones into his vegetables. Which at that point, why not just poison him?
Yeah, right? Well, if you've already got him ingesting toxins of some sort.
Lovell's nickname was Professor Moriarty, but Operation Fantasia went beyond his tolerance for absurdity. The minutes of another OSS meeting that occurred near the end of the war revealed noticeable relief in the attendees, including Lovell, whenever the OSS canceled the bizarre project. They concluded the problem of Fantasia has been mercifully completed. When Wild Bill Donovan had earlier told him to find a way to outfox the Nazis and the Japs, which, wow, he didn't mean it quite so literally.
Ha ha ha. Well, this is the stupidest thing we've ever spoken about.
Well, yeah, it's amazing how probably like millions of dollars of
for sure
government funding can just be going to the stupidest shit.
Yeah. I mean, this is so much college payments.
Oh my god, dude! It sounds like high college students did this.
Yeah, right. I was gonna say I could have come up with a way better idea. But that's the way it has to be sometimes, I guess.
Sometimes you just have to.
Thanks.
That's what makes us the best
country in the world.
Into like Japanese towns sounds impossible if you can't even get like your planes or like spies there.
Yeah, right. Well, this is really dumb.
I love it so much.
I'm a big fan. I wish they did more of it, but oh boy,
we need more of this besides like nuclear bombs. We need more.
Right. I would 100% see the Oppenheimer version of this though.
Oh,
without
incredible.
Question. Well, that's I don't know what to say. Besides, gee whiz, Scony.
Hey, don't thank me. Thank listener suggestion at Ryan Benson, author
Ryan
on
Benson
Instagram.
If you guys, if
any listeners out there have spooky or funny, weird, macabre, mysterious,
a couple in the pipeline,
anything
I saw,
send them in, maybe because we want to know about them.
If you guys have seen any kind of yokai,
yeah, exactly,
fox spirits, let us know.
We want to know about them, and we want to talk about something you want to hear about.
Yeah, reach out to us on Twitter at MMMacabrePod, Instagram at Monday Morning Macabre, and MondayMorningMacabre.com. And, do all that stuff. Rate the pod.
And next time you're on a hike at night, watch out.
Watch out.
For radioactive animals.
If you smell something that smells like spooky and
if
creepy,
you smell that classic fox odor.
Yeah, we all know. One that we all know. Then,
I don't know what any animal really smells like besides a skunk or a dog.
Okay.
Do you? Like a smell that you recognize?
It's just a funny way to
maybe
phrase
farm
that in my head.
animals.
Maybe farm animals.
Maybe farm animals in
Well,
boots.
I hope you guys have a good Monday. And I love you and watch out for foxes. Goodbye.
Bye.